Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're reviewing an Andy Tower fragrance. This is simply called Oudh by Tower, and this uses a natural oud oil from Laos. I've been to Laos, it's a beautiful country. Luang Prabang, there's an amazing waterfall there. If you Google image it, it's called Kuang Sai. A stunning place, I really enjoyed Laos. But anyway, the oud is sourced from an organic farm from Laos, so it's a Laos oud, and really from reading Andy's description on his website about it, he really just wanted to highlight the natural oud, and the other notes really just serve to enhance the oud. So that was his kind of take on the idea of it. When I first smell it, I get something a bit strange that I have never smelled before in a oud profile, so I'm not sure if it's the oud that gives it this smell, or if it's some of the individual notes that are going around it that create this effect. But from the first time I smelled it to now, every time I smell plastic is the best way I can describe it. And I don't mean it in a negative way, but it just reminds me of plastic. After about 30 minutes it transitions for, I should add though, it smells like plastic with the nuances of oud. Like, it's not a very specific oud though, it's definitely not like an artisan oud that you would try from someone like Ensar or Feel Oud, or, you know, those artisanal oud oils. This is more of a very mellow, general kind of light oud, but you have this plastic kind of smell around it. After about 30 minutes, the plastic smell transitions into smelling like black rubber, and it reminds me of a car tire. Specifically, it reminds me of a black car tire, almost like the car's been doing skids and it's a little bit charred or smoked. So you kind of have like a black rubbery smell, which isn't all that pleasant to me, and I have no idea what that's from, if that's the natural nuances of that particular oud, or whether it's some of the other materials. I'm not sure there. That only lasts for about 1 hour. After the 1 hour period, those kind of feelings and effects kind of diminish, and what I'm left with is a very mellow kind of woodiness generally. I perceive a little bit of an earthiness, and I can't tell too directly if I'm smelling maybe just the tiniest hint of patchouli, or if it's a tiny hint of vetiver, or both in combination. Both of those notes are used in the fragrance, so I'm not sure which one is leading a little bit more, but there is an earthiness to it, a little bit, but a hint. With this kind of smooth wood, you get a little bit of sandalwood, you get this kind of very mellow, soft oud that's not very kind of, like I say, specific in a profile, just a woodiness. The faintest hint of resins, but you don't get the sweetness from the resin. You don't smell myrrh directly or any of the other resins used in the fragrance. You just get a sense of a smoothness. You get maybe a very light sense of castoreum. I feel like all these notes are listed aren't really used very heavily at all. They're very, very minimal, and none seem to dominate heavily. They're kind of nuances or wisps of them. Like, you get a sense of a slightly smooth, leathery aspect that you get from the castoreum. You get a slight earthiness that you would expect from the vetiver, and maybe even a little bit of the patchouli, and a smoothness slightly from the resin, but without the sweetness of the resin. But in general, you're getting a very mellow, woody smell, and that's pretty much it, really. There's no direct kind of changes or swings once it goes past that plastic to rubber to smooth wood phase. It kind of tails out as this just very mellow, soft woodiness that I find myself thinking it smells okay, but like it's not one that I am that enamored with, I have to be honest. I do feel like it's completely unisex, it's totally genderless. It sounds like it might be a strong fragrance. On my skin it was actually a little bit the opposite. It was quite mellow. The sillage in the projection is subtle, it's not beastly. It's subtle, it's modest, but the scent that it gives to you is mellow, it's soft, it's rounded, it's not a punch in the face with animalic oud. There's no you know, strength to it that way. It's very mellow, very approachable, very kind of easy to wear. I'll go over some of the official notes listed. So reading the official notes, it's listed dark vetiver from Java, patchouli, myrrh, castoreum, morel extract with musk, cistus, sandalwood and ambergris, with rose, jasmine absolute, oud oil, cistus oil, styrax and tobacco, sandalwood, myrrh oil, patchouli, vetiver and cypriol. So like I said, I don't really directly smell the individual notes outside of the oud. You get nuances of possibilities without being directly smelling them specifically. At no point do I really directly smell rose or jasmine, but you can kind of get a nuance of maybe you get a smoothness of the floral without really pinpointing it. You kind of feel a little bit that it's all very evenly balanced underneath the kind of the woodiness. For me, I don't feel like it's completely the best representation of natural oud, because the beginning smelling like plastic and rubber to me, like that to me does not represent what natural oud is about. So it's probably not the best example of what natural oud can be and how it smells. That introduction is a bit kind of misleading in a way, and like I say, I don't know where that comes from. Maybe that is how this natural oud smells, but that's the way I perceive it, as smelling more like plastic and rubber, which really, for the ouds that I've smelled, I've never smelled those nuances before. Not to say that they don't exist naturally, but it's just not the best representation of oud. The dry down is pleasant. Like I say, it's a mellow, soft woodiness that you get like from the heart of just the wood of the oud. But to me, and I'm not an oud expert, but just like conversation with Ensar and things like that, from my knowledge, from my kind of small knowledge that I have, it feels like more, at an educated guess, the smell that it gives to me in my imagination of colours when I smell the dry down. This smells blonde. And obviously from the cost, you know that, and what I'm saying, it's not a highly saturated resonated wood. It can't be because of the cost for a start, and it's organically farmed. It feels like these are quite young trees that are not very highly resonated at all, and it's more the white wood that's being used. So you get this kind of almost cream coloured smell, and I'm talking colour there, but the colour that it gives you when you smell the dry down is not a dark oud. You can imagine the wood being quite light in colour. So I feel like, and that makes perfect sense, because like I say, it's not an expensive artisanal oud oil. That's not what it's about. It's just an ethically sourced farmed oud. So, you know, it's not the highest grade. If you really want to learn about oud, then go to artisanal oud distillers that, you know, have the passion to pull out all these nuances from the oud, rather than kind of a more mass-produced oud from, you know, younger trees or whatever. Altogether, I think the dry down is very pleasant and very mellow and very unisex. The opening, not a fan of the way the oud smells like plastic and rubber. I don't know where that's coming from, but it doesn't appeal to me personally. In terms of performance, I'm getting around 6 to 7 hours longevity with a soft sillage, and that's pretty much the best way I can describe it. If you've tried it, let me know. I did read some feedback and reviews of this fragrance, and a lot of people really do enjoy it, and a lot of people actually get a longer longevity than I do. I'm not spraying it from a bottle, I just have a little sample. So the performance, you might find it better on your skin, but that's all I can say for me testing it from the sample. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time with another one. Bye everyone.